Hey everyone, it's Joe Waxman, and I'm back with another video. Today I would like to talk about Libra, the sign Libra, the seventh sign, all about Libra and Libra Ascendant. So Libra is number 7. And number 7 is a prime number. It's a very powerful number, number 7. Libra is ruled by Venus. It's cardinal air. And it's the second air sign. So let's talk about the number 7. As I said before, I got my start in astrology way back when, learning from my parents about the 9 numbers in Japanese astrology, 9 ki. So that's my original orientation. And the numbers in 9 ki tell a lot about the significations, the archetype of each one. So I know it's not used that much in Western astrology, like thinking about the significance of the numbers, but it does mean a lot. And that's how I often think about the numbers. So number 7 is a very it's a very whole number, a very balanced number, a very complete number. It's prime, and it is I mean, it's similar to number 5 and number 3 because they're all prime as well, but it's more well, it's longer, so we get more nuance with it. So like some things that are used number 7 are the 7 days of the week. God created the world in 6 days and rested on the 7th. Therefore, 7 is a symbol of completeness and rest. 6 work days, 1 day of rest equals 7. There's 7 chakras in the body, 7 notes on a musical scale. According to George Asawa, a Japanese philosopher and teacher of macrobiotics, there were 7 levels of judgment. And by this, he means 7 levels of progressive awareness, development of the soul. You could say like levels of evolution, soul evolution. We could say there are 7 directions, 4 main directions, up, down, and then center. That's 6 and then 7. 7 is the center. And there's said to be 7 levels of hell and 7 levels of heaven. Those are both metaphorical, allegorical, because they are not, well, it's breaking it down into number 7, which is just a very complete whole round number. And that's the significance of that. So I'm going to share my screen for a moment just to complete this number 7 understanding, visualization. Here's a 7-pointed star. It's called a septagram. Like the 5-pointed star is a pentagram, 6-pointed star could be called a hexagram, and 7-pointed star is septagram. And just, I mean, marvel at that beauty. That's really something else, the 7-pointed star, really significant, really powerful. And look in here, you have another 7-pointed star in the middle, really unique. It just speaks for itself. You can just look at it and just feel its energy, its essence. And here is septagon, like pentagon, which is 5-sided shape. Here's a septagon, which is 7-sided shape. Yeah, very unique. Just, I mean, there's not really much to say except to take it in. Number 7, Libra. All right, I'll stop sharing so I can start talking a little bit. Okay, so Libra, being the middle sign in the zodiac, opposite Aries, it has that axis. It deals with balance, completeness, rest. When something is rested in a balanced position, it's static, it stays there. So this is the symbolism of Libra. Libra holds the scales of balance, of justice, right? So these are all things that are strong in Libra. The notion of peace, which comes from the balance and rest, and an ability to focus, because when things are balanced, you can really sort of come together in a focal point. Like, we don't often think of Libra as a focused sign, but it really can be, right? The potential is there for Libra to really focus its own energy, to really harness that focal point, and it sort of has a meditative quality for this point. Another way to look at number 7 would be I can't even remember how the number 7, the seventh aspect in the aspect. It's not a aspect that, if you divide the zodiac into 7 parts, you could get like 1/7, 2 7s, 3 7s. It's not a well-used aspect, but it is significant, and it shows, it can show like where somebody can really focus their energy. You can gain a lot from that. Fairness and justice are also associated with Libra. Equality, relationships, because it is the balancing between self and other, right? The equal relationship, fairness, balance, as opposed to like, say, like Virgo or Scorpio, which represent the imbalance of relationships, which I'll get to more. Virgo is often, it's critical, so it creates enemies. So it's a sign of conflict and resolution, but also service to others. So it's either this trying to dominate, like with force over others, the fighting, or sometimes it can be conflict resolution, or the willful lowering of oneself in service of others. That's the other side of Virgo. Whereas Scorpio is control over others, the dominance over others, or the inverse, dominating, being controlled by others, right? And so those are both the imbalance of relationships, Virgo and Scorpio. And Libra is the equality in relationships, the partnership, the total balance of relationships. And with that comes getting along with others. Libra, it's very important for Libra to be well-liked and to get along well with others. So they have that ability to really smooth relationships, both their own and others, to come together in harmony and balance. They're cardinal heirs, so they're going to be very intellectual, right? Very good talkers, very good smooth talkers, great with sales, business, trading, market. Libra is where we come to the market, where we trade. They're going to be good in all those things. So yeah, like great salespeople, great at negotiating deals, buying, selling. They can be counselors, because 7th house is that one-on-one relationship. Also the masses, but very much the one-on-one relationship with other lawyers, because they hold the scales of justice. They always want the justice. Judges, resolving conflict, connecting with others in general. One of the things that, one of their weaknesses is that they can be fake, because they have such a strong desire to keep the peace, to keep balance, to keep fairness, to make people, have people like them, that they can manipulate ideas, sort of like Gemini is able to manipulate ideas, though their motivation is different. They will manipulate ideas in order to have people like them. Like if you confront a Libra, someone with strong Libra placements, and they don't have anything conflicting that, anything going the other way that makes them want to be like, strong and outspoken, they can be such people pleasers. They can just be like, oh no, I didn't say that. I didn't know. You misunderstood me. listen, I think you're the best, and I would never criticize you or insult you. I think you're wonderful. I tell everyone how great you are. And they're passive aggressive like that, right? You know, they're willing to, I mean, like I always say, lying is a choice, but they're willing to distort things in order to make themselves appear better than they are. And with that comes a sense of fakeness. So in other words, the peace, keeping the peace is too important to them. So they can put on a facade, a fake front. They're very concerned with appearances. So you might see them, you know, Libras will dress to like impress. They'll dress to impress. They'll dress up. They'll want to be very nice looking and, you know, in a way that's very pleasing to everyone. But they're not going to be very unique because they don't want to stand out from the crowd, right? They want to be harmonious and blended in with others. So they have that neutrality going on. They can be indecisive because of their tendency to be balanced and to see all the different sides of everything. And if you ever argue with a Libra, it can be very annoying because they always want to be balanced. You know, they'll say, "Oh, I understand what you're saying. Yep, blah blah blah," and they'll make a really good case for you. And then they'll say, "On the other hand, I can totally understand the other person's perspective," and then they'll make a whole big case for them. And that can be good if they're being authentic, but it can just be a bit much if they're just trying to always just be like too fair or too nice about it, just trying to remain unbiased when there's a, you know, sometimes there can be a clear winner or loser. There can be a clear, you know, decisive side, and they lack that ability to be decisive when it's needed, when it needs to be, you know, and not always. I mean, they can be, you know, they might have some placements there that make them more authentic and decisive and all that, but in general, there can be a tendency to be indecisive with Libra placements. They're very smart and intellectual, like I said, cardinal air sign. The intellect is very prominent with all the air signs. Very, you know, very, very intellectual. Great business leaders because it's cardinal, so they can lead. They have that leadership ability, so they can be entrepreneurs, business, you know, sales, like I said, anything intellectual, counseling, they can do great at. And they tend to be people pleasers. Sort of, you know, going along the same lines of everything else I've saying, just that desire to please rather than to tell the truth, you know, sort of like the almost like the opposite of Virgo and Scorpio. Scorpio has like this deep need to be authentic and real, and Virgo has the very strong need to be critical, right? You know, so neither of those are going to be like balanced in, you know, having that they don't mind, like Virgo and Scorpio placements don't mind sticking out, you know, not being the nice guy because of that reason, although they can both be you know, depending on other, I mean, we're just talking archetypes here, but let's look at the ascendant and we'll dig a lot deeper into Libra, the Libra nature, the nature of Libra. And remember, when I'm talking about this is not just for Libra ascendant. We're digging into the nature of Libra, because whatever planet you have in Libra, you can make that planet chart. If you have Sun in Libra, Moon in Libra, Mercury in Libra, Venus in Libra, you know, it doesn't matter. You can make a chart for that planet, put that planet on the ascendant, and it will look something like this. And you're gonna get an idea of how that planet is. Whatever planet it is, it's still gonna have Scorpio in the second house, Sagittarius in the third house, Capricorn in the fourth house, you know, so on and so forth. It's going to look just like this, not just like this. Let me get these transits out of here. They are not needed. Okay, just cleaned up the chart a little bit. This is Tony Robbins' chart, and it's just an example of a Libra ascendant, because he's a good example of that. So Libra ascendant, that's everything I just talked about. Now they have Scorpio in the second house. So Scorpio in the second house is family, it's knowledge, it's assets, it's wealth, it's our values, it's our sense of worth. So here, they're going to be protective about all that. like if you want to see a a Libra, a Libra is really, if you want to see their fangs, mess with their family, mess with their money, mess with their assets, right? Take something from them that they really cherish. You will see them. That's where they will strike you. That's where they will hit you hard. And the false, fake Libra front facade will come down, and you will see their teeth. They're not going to tell you everything that they know, because this is knowledge, and Scorpio likes to hide and protect. So like Gemini, like all air signs, their knowledge is going to be hidden from you, what they know. And that's why there can be such master manipulators of ideas, because they're withholding information. Air signs withhold information. That's not dishonesty. That's not lying. That's tactical. It's tactical, strategic approach to communication, right? We have no need to tell you everything we know. I mean, that's just not part of the deal. Who says we do? That's just, it's part and parcel of being somebody who's more intellectual. We're guarding our knowledge and telling you what you need to know and what you don't need to know, because frankly, we don't have to tell you anything, but we're going to tell you some things. So I'm saying we, just because I'm an air sign, Libra's an air sign, I have Pluto in Libra. That's the only Libra placement. But anyway, they're going to be protective about what they know. They're going to be protective about their family, about their wealth, about their assets, about their knowledge. They're going to speak very carefully. When they tell you things, they're going to think about it beforehand, and they're not just going to let everything spill out, right? Because Scorpio's here. Scorpio's going to protect all that. Their taste, because second house also shows what our taste in food, what we like to consume. So their taste is going to be very selective, but also very like deep. Like they might like really good like sensual, like seafood and things like that, or just really have a really intense desire for certain foods. But they're not going to be, it's not going to just be like a smorgasbord, like eat everything. Scorpio is selective, right? It's careful. It doesn't let everything in. It's got that hard outer shell. So it's going to be, they're going to like things, what they like, they really like, and they're going to be careful and selective about what they like as far as food goes. Third house is in Sagittarius, so they're going to be like, this is street smarts. They're going to be very philosophical and wise about, the neighborhood, about siblings, friends, casual friends, walking down the street, short distance travel. They're going to be philosophical. These are going to be like the street poets, the street, sages, wise, smart, street smarts, having knowledge of things that are very local and ordinary and close to home. They can be philosophical writers and speakers as well. And they're going to take philosophy and wisdom down to a more, basic, mundane street level, right? And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It can be very, very useful to have that street wisdom. I'm calling it street wisdom because it's just what it basically means is like Gemini and Sagittarius kind of mixing things up. So it's like a lower version of Sagittarian wisdom. They're also going to like travel, because here's travel is short distance travel is becoming long distance travel. So, they might go out for like a walk and then find themselves in another state somehow, or they might have very philosophical friends and siblings. There's like a sibling could be a teacher to them. Let's move on. Capricorn in the fourth house. This could be a very strict upbringing. very disciplined upbringing, very strict at home, rules at home, authority at home, working from home, career from home. They're going to have rules about their home. You come in their home, they might make you take your shoes off. They might make you, I don't know, not mess up their cat. They're going to be strict at home. They're going to have rules. And if they're too laid back to enforce their own rules, they're going to attract it. They're going to project it. It'll be like a landlord who's like just on their ass all the time about not making too much noise, keeping, I don't know, just keeping things in order. Oh, the landlord said you can't, you got to be quiet. Got a fussy landlord, stuff like that. Because what we don't embody in our own chart gets projected into the outer world and forced upon us. So the Capricornian stuff is going to be at home. They're going to have to work hard at home and be authoritative at home. Fifth house in Aquarius. These can be like, like mad scientists, because here we have basic education and then Aquarius science. So like experimentation, when you're playing games with science, then you get experiments, right? So they can be very experimental. They can have very unusual, different, unique, fun and interesting games or hobbies. Their children could be very unique, very different, very scientific, or very rebellious. They're just going to enjoy their sense of humor could be very like off, just crazy, because Aquarius can be very funny too. And here they could be like performance artists in a very unique, quirky, odd way or humorous way, things like that. Pisces in the sixth house. So here we get Libra's not inability, but lack of want to confront. They're non-confrontational, because sixth house is where we have confrontation. Here's where we have enemies. Here's where we come to disputes and conflict and resolution of that. And with Pisces here, they're not going to want to fight. It's not that Pisces can't fight. Pisces can fight, actually, believe it or not. They can come at you like a solid wall of water, tsunami, like over your head if they're mad. But they're not wanting to do that unless there are other combinations that make it so that they are. So here we see Libra's lack of wanting to confront. They're going to want to resolve conflict in a more peaceful way, in a more gentle, spiritual, creative way. And they're going to have very unusual daily routines. They're not going to have, because Pisces has no boundaries, so it's not going to be normal. It's just going to be, it's going to be creative. It's going to be fun. It's going to be whatever they feel like doing. They're going to mix it up. Maybe they'll sleep all day and have their daily routine at night. Then the next day they'll go hiking or who knows what. It's just going to be all over the place. Random, creative, spiritual, delusion, illusion. Maybe they'll take up drinking as a daily routine. They'll just become an alcoholic. Oh, I mean, I'm sure it happens sometimes. Yeah, this is not much of a fighter here. Not for lack of ability again, but not wanting to. And yeah, I think like if you're hiring a Libra, someone with a lot of Libra placements for daily routine, better get used to them. Not, they're better having their own business, better as entrepreneurs, better doing their own thing, because they're not going to be well structured in everyday work life. Too much Piscean energy. Great for artists, great for creativity, and great for actually like mundane activities that are very creative, like cooking. They can be excellent cooks, because cooking is something that you need to do on a daily basis. We need to eat 3 times a day, so it can fall into the sixth house. And Pisces being so creative, they can make excellent cooks because it's so creative. So like the daily mundane stuff can become very creative, things like that. Aries in the 7th house. So this is one of the best placements for motivational speakers, really, because and Tony Robbins is a motivational speaker. Aries in the seventh house, so inspiring. This is where we can inspire others, because Aries is the fire starter, right? Aries is where we get this tremendous ability to light fires. And when we're lighting fires in other people, we're inspiring them. That's what it means. Inspiration is the lighting of fire. And we're casting out all these sparks with Libra Ascendant, Aries Descendant, and we're lighting fires in people and getting people excited and passionate about stuff, right? So that's really cool. And because Aries is such a cardinal, it's the first cardinal sign, it's cardinal fire, they're great at business. They can initiate anything, initiate entrepreneurship. Seventh house is the house of business and the market and sales and other people. So they can do wonderful things with like business and speaking, motivational speaking, selling things. Because if you inspire somebody about a product, you can really sell it, right? Libra are excellent salespeople because of that. They can be very upfront with how they go about their relationships. Like Libra Ascendant can just go right up and talk to people, because Aries is on the descendant. They can go right up and introduce themselves. They can start relationships of all kinds, romantic, business partnerships, anything, because they have that initiation of Aries right in the seventh house. Very strong here. It's very good quality for Libra. Taurus in the eighth house. So like Scorpio in the second house, I forgot to mention, they're going to want to share their resources with others, and they're going to want to hoard their shared resources. So very similar. They're going to be very materialistic about, money and shared resources. And one good thing is that Taurus will stabilize the eighth house, because Taurus is so stable. But on the other hand, Scorpio might make their assets volatile, up and down, because Scorpio has that death rebirth kind of thing going on. But here the Taurus is stabilizing, because everything's backwards with Libra. Everything's polar opposite. All the houses are in their opposite position. So Taurus is going to make, when they have a partner, which they're very partnership prone, they're going to want to have lots of partners, or at least one partner, and they're going to want to share the resources. And they're going to be very, materialistic about that. They're going to say, hey, buddy, you better share your bank account with me, because, well, I'm sharing my stuff with you, so you have to share your stuff with me. That's going to be very important to them. The ups and downs are going to be stabilized, and they're going to, their occult knowledge is going to have a very physical quality to it. Like they could be into the occult wisdom, the occult knowledge of food. I mean, if that sounds strange, maybe it is, but there is an element to that. There is an occult awareness of food, and that is how food affects our consciousness, right? That's a whole study in itself. That's legit. I know about it. It's because it's within some of the stuff I learned as a child. Not just as a child, throughout my whole life, macrobiotics. Or it could be like a sensory, like it's going to have, if they're into the occult, it's going to be tied to the physical. So it could be like tantra, like sex, because Taurus is so sensual, and the eighth house is sexuality. So combining sensuality with sexuality, right? Tantra. Things like that. Or, the secrets of money, the secrets of finance, the really hidden knowledge, because there's a whole secret world to finance too, right? There are money manipulators behind the scenes, pulling the strings, manipulating, and they'll get all into that. They'll get all real deep into the secrets of money and the markets and manipulation, all that. So that's what Taurus can do in the eighth house. And it's also good, very good for, like I said, shared money, shared resources, inheritance, because it's ruled by Venus. So it brings a lot of shared resources. Gemini in the ninth house, similar again to Sag in the third house, but here they're gonna travel for education, because Gemini is the student, so they're going to travel and they're going to make it a very like curious thing for them, where they go and they study in foreign lands, whether formally or informally. They might just go informally to another country and just like eat it up, go to all the museums and just like take it all in, just take in the whole culture, because Gemini is so curious and like a butterfly and fluttering around and intellectual. They can speak, they can teach in philosophy, in higher wisdom. They can preach. This could be a preacher, right? Because religion in the ninth house, talking, communication, communicating philosophy. So like higher, this college professor seen here, religious preacher, somebody who studies a lot in grad school, just somebody who goes to grad school in general, or goes to philosophy and higher knowledge and wisdom and soaks it all up. Yeah. So like, yeah, teaching and communicating. Philosopher, poet type people, or just very highly intellectual. The philosophy, the higher mind of the intellect, the intellectual philosophy. 10th house in Cancer. They can have careers in caring for others. Any sort of nurturing career, any sort of, this does not have to mean nursing, although it can mean nursing. It can mean mothering. It can mean just somebody who's a stay-at-home mom. That could be their career, you know, and that's nothing wrong with that. I was a stay-at-home dad for a little while. Didn't suit me so much, but you know, for some people it can. Or it can just be a career where they just really care about people, right? Tony Robbins. I mean, dude is super masculine, but he also has a very feminine side, and he's very caring and nurturing. Just people who are like in the wellness career, in the wellness field, helping others, concern with others. It could be also creativity, because Moon is creative. Moon is emotional, so anything dealing with the emotions, arts, things like that. Also, it shows a great concern for public appearance. Libras are very, very concerned about how they appear in public, because this is how we appear in public. And Cancer shows the heart, shows our real deep concern. So they're very concerned with public appearance. That we know. Leo in the 11th. They shine in social groups and networks. They can be natural leaders in that. Their social ability, their networking, their communications on the internet. They just love socialization, and as all air signs are naturally prone to do, they're very egotistical about it. And it's just where they shine naturally in social situations, in group settings, networking, again, for business and entrepreneurship, excellent placement. They really know how to make connections and be the sunshine in social situations. So Libra, very social, highly social. Now we get to the 12th house, and this is always, I think, the most difficult to understand, or one of the most difficult houses to understand, and how it relates to that sign. And here we have Virgo. And as you know, Virgo is a very critical sign, very analytical, intellectual, and we certainly don't lack an analysis or intellectuality with Libra, because their intellect is so strong. They're on par with a Virgo. I mean, I don't think really one is more intellectually capable than the other, even with Scorpio. I mean, all three of these signs are highly intellectually capable signs, right? But the difference here is that Libra is all about balanced relationships, and it's flanked by two signs that are about imbalanced relationships. Like I already said, Scorpio is all about dominating and being dominated by that, you know, the dom and sub, those are both Scorpio relationships. I guess you could say one could be a Virgo relationship, but dom and sub, or sadism, S&M, you know, that's all Scorpio. Bondage, whipping, all that stuff, getting into the sexual stuff. Yeah, Virgo can veer off into that, because they can switch polarities Virgo and Scorpio. But Virgo is more about fighting, resolving conflict, and being of service to others, right? So that willful submission to others. So in that way, they could be the sub to Virgo's, to Scorpio's dom, until they want to start fighting. And then Scorpio's going to have a fight on their hands because Virgo can fight, right? But Libra wants nothing to do with either of those two. He's like, you stay away from me. I'm here in the middle. I'm Libra. I'm all about balanced relationships. I'm all about equality. We're about sharing here. We're about peace and equal relationships and the balance of the scales. And we're not going to get out of balance. And because we're so concerned with people liking us and our public appearance and how we, keep the peace and how we keep up appearances and how we're liked, and by being all egotistical about our social status, we're not dealing with you guys. So they keep, especially Virgo, keeps Virgo hidden because Virgo cannot stop being critical. And in order for Libra to be Libra, they need to shut Virgo up. They need to keep it in the hidden 12th house. Virgo goes in the 12th house with Libra for that reason, even more so than Scorpio, because Scorpio knows how to shut its mouth. Scorpio can be like secretly plotting and doing all its, strategizing and figuring out how it's going to murder you or how it's going to take revenge on you. Virgo is sitting here criticizing the shit out of everything. It's just like nonstop criticisms from Virgo. And Libra's like, no, we're going to hide you. We're putting you in the 12th house so we can shut up your criticisms, because Libra does not want that, because those criticisms create enemies and those criticisms destroy Libra's peace and Libra's nice, superficial facade, right? That's its strength. You have to remember, I'm not putting Libra down because we all have Libra, right? The ability to smooth things over on the surface is Libra's strength. And yeah, it can become its weakness, but we're not talking about that. We're just talking about why this is an archetype, right? We're not talking about people here. We're talking about archetypes. And the archetype of Virgo is just too sharp and critical for Libra, so it keeps it in the 12th house. Now, it doesn't mean it's not going to be there. In fact, Libra has another quality of Libra, because of Virgo's in the 12th house, is passive aggressive, right? The Virgo is still there criticizing, but it's an undertone. It's not coming out. And everything Libra does, there's a hidden passive aggressive quality where that 12th house Virgo is silently and subconsciously there criticizing. Like, you don't notice it outright, but you can feel it. And that's why people are like, Libra, sure, yeah, you're just saying that. We know what's underneath. You're judgmental, but you're passive aggressive, and you're not telling us all those Virgo criticisms that you're hiding. It's there, but we need this. We need to have this ability to have the peacemaker, the one to be able to swallow their criticisms and to keep it under tabs for the greater peace. Because Libra needs to have its unbiased view. Libra tries to be as unbiased as it can be, and therefore needs to have Virgo criticisms hushed up. Hush, Virgo, hush your criticisms. We need to have unbiased neutrality here, right? Scorpio, we know you can hush up, but Virgo, we need to put you in the 12th house. So that's pretty much how I see Libra. Okay. I think it's fascinating when you look at it like this, when you look at all the houses and you apply it not just to the ascendant, but all Libra signs, all Libra house, all Libra placements, all Libra planets. They have these qualities, right? So Different planets are going to bring out different aspects. You know, Saturn is exalted in Libra, Sun is debilitated in Libra, Mars is in detriment in Libra, and in esoteric astrology, which is a separate branch of astrology, Uranus rules Libra, believe it or not. And I might as well just mention that briefly. And here's why. When you're perfectly at peace and in balance, like think about when you're meditating and you're just like quiet, you quiet your mind, because that's Libra, quiet. And that's a very high virtue, essentially, being so balanced, so peaceful, so quiet-minded. That's when you can get enlightened. That's when you can get bolts of inspiration. That's when you get the clearest, sharpest, most insightful, penetrating thinking. And that's why esoterically, Uranus finds its home in Libra, that perfect balance, because that's where lightning can strike. That's where Uranus can find its home in Libra, because that's where it has the peace. And because Uranus is the opposite. Uranus is that violent strike of inspiration, of you know, it could be an accident, but it could be like enlightenment itself, you know. It's just like the shot of brilliance, the awareness, the aha moment. We need Libra for that. That's where we get the balance, the ripe prime ground foundation for that Uranian brilliance, right? So that's why in the highest level, that's why it's esoteric astrology, because it's more of a high level. When you get into more advanced, evolved expressions of these signs, then we move into something different. We move into esoteric astrology. That's what the esoteric astrology is for. It's for the further advanced stages of each sign. So the advanced stage of Libra is very Uranian, where we really become a home for Uranian inspiration and wisdom, and not wisdom, enlightenment, awareness, consciousness. Oh, wow. Shocking openness. Anyway, guys, that's Libra. If you like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. If you want to book a reading, go to my website, macroastrology.com. And thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon. All right. Thanks. Bye.